I microdosed tirzepatide literally within 2 hours. My gut was not in pain. The digestion, I was always chronically bloated.
The BPC 157 is systemic healing. It's going to go in and heal the body, tissue repair. It promotes angiogenesis, which is blood flow to new areas. And BPC 157 is a fantastic systemic healing peptide. And if someone was sick, I'd be like, oh, that's the foundational peptide to start with. But then what I really saw was when we started microdosing GLP-1s.
Oh my God, mic drop. How did you discover GLP-1s microdosing for chronic illness?
All of a sudden, my mental clarity was astounding. Like, I could say words and think of things that I couldn't for years. And I was like, how sad is it that I struggled that long, mentally struggled for 4 or 5 years to just think clearly? And so as soon as I tried the GLP-1 and I heard this Dr. Tina talk about the microdosing effects, I was like, oh, I'm going to try this.
Hey guys, it's Jordan Younger, your host of the Ageless Blonde Soul on Fire podcast. Here we go deep on all things astrology, awakening, wellness, motherhood, channeling, aliens, and so much more. We have deep conversations. We go to other realms. It's a lot of fun. So stick around. Let's dive on in. I cannot wait to connect.
Amber, I'm so happy that you're here. This is such a long time coming, like 6 years coming.
I can't believe how long it's been.
I know. And we've kind of like rediscovered each other, I would say, or reconnected.
Right.
Because of what we're both into these days, which is peptides. But we've both been into healing.
Right.
And chronic illness healing, our own Lyme journeys, our own longevity journeys. We've had so much in common since the first day that you came to my house as a nurse. And here we are today. You have your own podcast.
Just started my own podcast.
What's it called?
So it's the Ageless Blonde podcast.
Such a good name.
Yeah.
I mean, we make such a good team.
Yes.
The balanced and the ageless.
I know, and I didn't realize we both have blonde in our names, podcast
but it's
names.
The best. Like,
because we are blonde, so it should be that way.
Yeah, and it's catchy and it's fun.
Right.
And when we're talking about these medical topics or healing topics, you got to keep it fun and lighthearted.
Fun. Otherwise, especially all the things that you and I have been through, they're so similar, and the way we've been able to overcome all these things, you have to present it in a way that's fun, that people want to hear about. And anyway, I just love that you've taken your chronic illness journey and turned it into something amazing.
Thank you.
And been so vulnerable, because that's really hard to do. For a long time, I just was like, I don't want to talk about the struggles I've been through. And I just really admire that you're able to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I just stumbled into being so open because I already had my blog and my podcast before I got sick.
Right.
So to update people, it just, not only was it something that I just inherently did, but it also helped me.
Right.
It helped me to know there's so many people out there who are going through something similar, if not the exact same thing.
Right.
Which, when we first met each other,
Yeah.
that was the first thing that became so obvious, was like, are we the same person? What's going on? We have had all of the same diagnoses and just so many similarities. So tell us a little about you, how you got started as the nurse that you are, and your own health journey.
Yeah. So funny enough, I met you when you were, I think, having like a flare up or not feeling well.
For sure.
And believe it or not, I was actually really sick at that time in my life. I had actually just moved from Ohio, where I had been exposed to a lot of moldy homes. I think we moved 6 times before we came to Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I ever shared that or not.
I think you did.
Maybe.
But where? Like, were you all over different states?
No. So we were in Ohio. We had black mold in our house. And then we moved to another house that ended up having mold as well, had it fully remediated. It was a huge house. Lots of water damage. And that's when I was like pretty much really sick. And I had doctors telling me, I don't know what's going on. Looks like your body's failing you. And basically one nurse practitioner told me like I was dying. And I was like, okay, I have to figure this out. So that started my health journey. And we had lived in, I believe we lived in a hotel too, but we lived in so many homes that had water damage. So I started noticing a pattern, because it wasn't just me sick. It was my kids and my husband. And so I was like, I'm going to take matters in my own hand. And I was a medical provider myself, and none of the doctors had answers. So I was like thinking, something is missing. So when I realized that, I was like, I have to do my own research. And that kind of got me on that journey. And so fast forward to moving to Los Angeles, I was seeing doctors still trying to figure it out. And I bumped into you, and you were like, I have this like mystery illness and Lyme disease. And I was
Story
like,
of my life.
wait, I do too. Like, I have a mystery illness and Lyme disease, and like, I'm struggling too. And you started sharing the symptoms you had. And I was like, wait, I'm not the only one. And it was pretty incredible to meet you, because it was somebody that I was like, oh, they understand me, you know?
Beyond.
And you weren't like a victim wallowing in your pain, but you're like, this is what I'm going through and I'm trying to overcome it. So I remember I started giving you IVs, and you started sharing with me some of your resources. And I was like, this is amazing to meet somebody similar. But then fast forward to, I was just doing concierge medicine, doing house calls for a lot of chronic illness patients, Lyme disease patients. And I started seeing patterns. All the patterns were that they had trauma. They either had autoimmune disease, they had Hashimoto's, or significant mold exposure. So then I started to realize, okay, so there's more to the picture than just Lyme disease. And I know you've uncovered that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some days, this is going to be controversial, but I feel like we can go there.
Yeah.
I'm like, is Lyme even a thing? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I've come to. And it is. I actually had even like a prophetic dream about Lyme last night where
my
I
gosh.
saw it in my blood, and I'm like, no, intuitively, I feel like it's real.
Yeah.
And it's there for some of us.
Right.
But I also feel like it's become a scapegoat diagnosis.
Totally.
For this mystery illness.
Yes.
That could be anything. It could be mold. It could be stress. It could be being overworked. It could be, you know, we're from a different planet, which out there, you are a nurse, so like you're gonna be focusing on the physical,
Right.
but spiritually,
Right.
we see the patterns. I
see
mean,
the
we've
patterns.
both been in this world for a long time.
We have.
The Lyme world.
Yeah. And so what I've noticed too is the people that did have Lyme disease had significant trauma.
That too. Yes.
And their nervous systems were not regulated.
Exactly.
And so then I started to unpack, like, okay, what are some of the modalities we can do? Because I don't believe going after infections all the time and just kill actually helps the body long term. And this is from me seeing so many patients that were sick that I started noticing patterns. And what I noticed was if I would give them more of a functional medicine approach, like just basically trying to help repair their body, whether it was their mitochondria or nutrient deficiencies or things that maybe they were lacking, it would help them heal faster instead of just constantly killing an infection. Personally, that's what I've seen with patterns. So what I did was I stumbled upon doing peptides, which...
How did you stumble upon peptides?
So I think I've been doing peptides for like 5 years, but didn't realize the impact that they had. I knew, first of all, the foundational peptide that everyone talks about, which is BPC 157. And, you know, I really was giving, with the physician I was working with at the time, we were giving BPC 157 to all the clients because...
Is this the physician that we both know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that must have been after I went there, because I never tried peptides there.
Yes. So this was after you left, and we started to... Honestly, I kind of feel like I was pushing for more functional medicine approaches there instead of the traditional route of antibiotics, because I started to see headway with like doing IV exosomes or doing some BPC 157. And what's crazy is I remember going to see this doctor in Beverly Hills that was very expensive at the time, and I went and I wanted him to treat me because, you know, we spent all this money trying to get treated and to feel better.
Of course.
And he was like giving me some sophisticated IVs, but then he was like, I'm going to give you this shot and it's going to help your gut issues. And I was like, okay, had no idea what it was. As a nurse, I should have known. I let him do it. And it was BPC 157. And immediately I noticed that my GI issues got better.
Wow. From one shot?
From one shot.
And was this something that you were supposed to take like weekly, or this was just a one-time thing from him?
Well, this was a one-time thing from him. He was new to practice, and he was reversing all kinds of chronic issues, but he was using stem cells and peptides. And so he was so expensive, so I was like, you know, I'll go back and get treatment later. But I remember having, like, that one shot was like changed some of my GI issues. So then when we got access at the doctor's office that I worked at to these peptides, we started putting everyone on BPC 157. everyone has leaky gut or gut issues. But what we forget is the gut and brain, or there's an axis, they're connected. The gut is fully connected to the brain. So you can't just heal the gut. You also have to work on the brain, and you know this. So, but what I did see was people, their GI issues would just improve so quickly from BPC 157. And I was like, this is interesting. What about all these other peptides? Well, there's a lot of them.
So many.
Yeah. And so
like the common thing is just there's so many. It's like confusing.
It's confusing.
Which is why I'm so happy to have this conversation with you, because working with them for 5 years is a long time as in terms of peptides. So which one did you discover next?
So, then we started dabbling in some mitochondrial peptides. And so something that's interesting too is a lot of people with chronic illness have a weak mitochondria. And there's a lot of different ways you can support the mitochondria, but there was specific peptides I saw that would help people with energy production. So MCAS is a good one. There's also the NAD. I've been microdosing for years on patients, and it does help with brain function and energy. But the reality is peptides are only going to work as good as if your body is optimized hormonally and your thyroid is in check. And so what I see is if patients are, their thyroid is functioning appropriately and they're on, if they have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, they have to correct that. And then peptides are only going to add benefit to all those things. But with the energy, it was funny that I saw some patients gain energy with NAD and MCAS, but then what I really saw was when we started microdosing GLP-1s.
Oh my God, mic drop, which is something people have so many questions about.
I know.
And then just the stigma around GLP-1s for weight loss, for people who need it, for obesity, and that's done amazing things for people who need it.
Yes.
But then it's so abused by people who don't need it.
Yes.
So I spent years kind of talking poorly about it, not for people who need it, never for people who need it. I've seen it do great things for people with diabetes and obesity and people who really needed health correction.
Right.
But for all the LA girls who just wanted to lose 10 pounds, I'm like, this is crazy. I hate this. And then life humbles you. And
the things you say you never do, you do.
Yeah. Like I got to the point, which I've always been at the point ever since we met, where I would try anything in the name of healing.
Yeah.
From water fasting to ayahuasca to stem cells to hyperbaric chamber to everything.
You've tried everything.
I had never heard of peptides for healing though, until I saw a similar functional medicine doctor to who you're talking about. And he said, what about microdosing a GLP-1?
Right.
And I was like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in that. And he's like, I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
And then he enlightened me. I tried it. My life has changed.
That's
the
crazy.
whole internet knows it because I won't shut up about it.
You keep sharing. What's so funny is right before you tried the peptides, I think I had reached out to you because I thought about you. And I was like, what's funny? Because me and one of my best friends, we both had mast cell activation syndrome, really
Another
bad.
thing that we all suffer with, those of us with Lyme.
Yes. And so I was like, I noticed when I microdosed trizepatide for the first time that all my mast cell symptoms went away.
Yes.
And so I was talking to her on the phone and she started to tell me, oh my gosh, Amber, I've noticed that all my symptoms have improved. And then I thought of you because I know that you shared that you really struggle with rashes and eczema and mast cell activation syndrome. And a lot of it is histamine, right? But I remembered that you had struggled and I thought of you and I was like, so funny, I have to tell her about this if she just microdoses it. Don't know why I thought of it. And then you were like, I'm starting them in 2 days or 3 days. Isn't that so funny?
Yes. And that was one of many kind of signs and full circle moments where right as I was about to start, it just was coming into my ethers from every angle.
Right.
Where before, I swear I had never heard of it. I had heard of it for skincare.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay.
I had never heard of peptides for chronic illness.
Okay. Never.
No. I mean, maybe. I guess I had. But you know that there's such a difference between when you hear about something and you just don't feel drawn to it because you've tried everything and you don't want to see another doctor and then tell another doctor all of your health history because it's emotional and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't know enough about it.
Well, I also think sometimes when you're somebody that's went through so much, it's kind of like PTSD to show back up to the doctor and talk about it again. And it's one of those things where it's there are tools like peptides are amino acids. Our body, it's very similar to the same amino acids, short chain amino acids that are in our body. So these are different than pharmaceuticals, right? I mean, they're still synthetically made, but they're not medications. And I think for someone like you and I, who've tried so many medications that had adverse reactions, sometimes going back to the doctor is like triggering.
It's traumatizing.
I know.
And back then, I don't know about you, but it was so rare for me to try a treatment and not have a Herx reaction, like a die-off reaction or feel worse.
Right.
And I had gotten into this new space since having kids where I just didn't really see doctors for Lyme, and I didn't really treat Lyme, and I just ignored that whole part of my life.
Right.
Which on a mindset function was positive because I was living like someone who wasn't sick. Right. And I think that there comes a stage in your journey where that's important.
Yep.
But there was this whole other gray area where I actually felt terrible all the time, as you know, and I would post about mast cell, and people would be like, well, what are you doing for it? And I'm like, nothing.
Like,
I've tried everything.
Nothing
like
works.
Nothing would ever work for me.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you discover GLP-1s microdosing for chronic illness? Was it a doctor, or was it like your own kind of experimentation?
It's funny. So I was still working with the doctor that we both knew, and I basically was like, I went to her and I was like, I think peptides could be really life-changing in Lyme disease, because I was just on a hunt for something more natural, and I was really like trying to shift my mindset to not identify with being a chronically ill person. And I'm like, I was all about optimization. So if I could optimize my brain function, because by the way, I had like dementia symptoms before.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And your mom.
And my mom.
If that's not too personal to discuss, your mom passed of dementia.
She did. So my mom passed of early onset Alzheimer's, and we went to so many doctors and they had zero answers. And so once she passed away, it really kind of pushed me to optimization, because I was like, if there is a way to reverse or slow the aging process or support the mitochondria or help with brain function, I'm going to find it. And so I think at the time when I was sick, was struggling with memory issues. There'd be times I would go to like the grocery store and I couldn't remember how to get back because I was that brain fogged. And so I think I just got on this mission to figure out, like, how do I optimize my brain function? And so I remember going to the doctor we both knew and saying, hey, like, can we focus on optimization? And I know like all these, like, you know, high performers that maybe I worked with in the past, they want this. There's a market for this. People want to be optimized, especially if there's somebody that struggled for years. And so I remember saying, let's do peptides, whatever. And I started studying them and reading about them. And I was like, you know, they're expensive. I mean, it's hard to try 6 or 7 of them because, you know, they're a couple $100s a piece. So I started dabbling in them and dabbling in oral peptides. But it wasn't until just recently that I was like, no, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to be super consistent. And I started just researching them like crazy. And I remember going to this conference. It was like this beauty biohacking conference or something. And I remember hearing this doctor. Her name is Dr. Tina. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yeah,
do you know
she's
who she
awesome.
is? Yeah. And I remember her speaking and talking about how microdosing GLP-1s could reverse all kinds of inflammation, and how it could reverse neuroinflammation, and how it could help with all kinds of diseases. And at the end of the day, if you're lowering inflammation systemically, it's going to help with autoimmune disease and chronic illness, right?
Of course.
And so, you know, this isn't medical advice, but like I started listening to her speak and I was like, this is crazy. Like I had taken a couple doses of the GLP-1s and all of a sudden my mental clarity was astounding. Like I could say words and think of things that I couldn't for years. And I was like, how sad is it that I struggled that long mentally, knowing that I'm very intelligent, almost done right now with my master's degree, and I'm going to be a nurse practitioner in December, but struggled for 4 or 5 years to just think clearly. And so as soon as I tried the GLP-1 and I heard this Dr. Tina talk about the microdosing effects, I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. So I remember going back and being like, this could change everything for the Lyme community or for the autoimmune community or for women or anyone struggling really. And so I go back to the doctor and tell her, and she's like, oh no, that wouldn't work.
Why?
And so I think so many physicians they just think it has to be like the on-brand version, or taking small doses isn't going to do anything.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I just started practicing on myself, and then I started practicing on clients. And then like my patients would come back and be like, I haven't had this amount of energy in years. All of a sudden I have all this mental clarity. And it really hit home with the patients that had mast cell activation syndrome.
Totally.
Or that like had a lot of hormonal issues, or like, I don't know, my periods improved, and I would have people tell me like all these areas of their life would improve. And I was just astounded. I was like, this is crazy. I have to study this more. So right now I'm trying to read all the articles and do the research, because I think it's going to be life-changing.
Definitely.
For so many people. How quick did you notice a change, and what did you notice?
Okay. It's going to sound unbelievable, because I'm the person who nothing worked. And even if it worked, I didn't feel it working. You know, I believe all the ozone and the stem cells and the IVs I would do with you, I believe it all worked. It just, I didn't feel any better, because it took years to even like, you know, feel a little bit better, and then get pregnant, and then make myself sick all over again as a mom.
Totally.
It was literally within 2 hours of taking the peptides.
2 hours.
So I started with BPC 157 and Thymosin Alpha-1.
Okay.
And then the next day, because I was advised to wait like a week between then starting the GLP-1, but I was too excited. I was so excited. I'm like, I know this is going to work for me. So the next day, I microdosed tirzepatide literally within 2 hours.
Immediately.
My gut finally was not in pain. Like the digestion, I was always chronically bloated. I post all these photos now, the before and afters of like
huge difference.
Chronically bloated. And the haters are like, she's pregnant in this photo. I'm like, you've never suffered from bloating, from mast cell bloating.
Right.
Because pregnancy in me looked very different than that. And I have all the photos to prove it, but not that I have to prove myself to anyone. But the bloating, the indigestion, the pain, the constant feeling for years of I'm hungry, but I have no appetite.
Right.
I don't know. So many chronically ill people can relate to that. Like, oh, I need to eat something, but I feel so sick, but I'm starving, but nothing sounds good. So let me just Postmates this unhealthy meal, because like everything else sounds disgusting. Then you feel even worse, and then you're even more bloated, and just having no energy to be a mom or to work out or run my businesses, provide for my family.
Right.
And the postpartum, the second time around, was horrible. Like, I am just about 14 months postpartum, but a year postpartum was when I started taking the peptides. And I was hoping that by a year postpartum, I would feel a little more like myself again, or feel in my body again.
Right.
And I didn't until I started taking the peptides.
That's crazy.
And so it was within hours. And then, of course, it was within like days and then weeks of those symptoms just continuing to improve.
Let's talk about the peptide stack you're on then. And I'm sure you've shared with your following and whatnot, but like you're targeting all the right things, because the BPC 157 is systemic healing. It's going to go in and heal the body, tissue repair. It promotes angiogenesis, which is blood flow to new areas. And BPC 157 is a fantastic systemic healing peptide. And if someone was sick, I'd be like, oh, that's the foundational peptide to start with. So your doctor was so smart, obviously, to put you on that. And then the Thymosin Alpha, you know how it improves your immune system. And so if you're chronically ill, or you're someone that struggled, you have to support your immunity. So, I mean, the funny thing is I'm on the exact same stack. I've just added like one or two more things.
What have you added? What should I add? Tell me.
So it gets a little crazy, because you could just keep wanting to add.
I know.
Yeah.
But what have you added?
So I've added a human growth analog, Thymosin Alpha-1. So
I've heard of that.
Thymosin helps burn fat, and Alpha-1 helps stimulate growth hormone. And so that also helps with skin, hair, and wound healing and energy, and I feel amazing on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm on the BPC 157. I'm on the Thymosin beta. I microdose the retatrutide, and then I just added in the Thymosin Alpha-1 at bedtime.
Oh my God. That's amazing. So the
retatrutide.
Okay, so that's like tirzepatide, right? But a little different.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan really of, I mean, some people might love it, but I'm not a big fan of the semaglutide, because there's, at least from what I've seen, I had patients on it, but there's a lot more side effects. So it has just the one receptor, and then the tirzepatide has 2 receptors, and then the retatrutide has 3. And so the studies show that the retatrutide, you burn a little bit more fat. That's kind of the difference, but they're very similar. It's just a little more enhanced than the tirzepatide.
So should I try that?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I love both, but I feel like the retatrutide, I feel maybe a little like more energy on it.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's because I've added the human growth analogs because they help with energy. So, but
it's hard to tell sometimes.
It is, but I've noticed like just from putting people on either one, the trizepatide or retatrutide, I've had a lot of success with both.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I know it's hard to talk about dosing because we don't want to give medical advice or dose anyone because we don't know their body. We don't know anything.
Exactly.
But are you open to talking about like a ballpark? How much is a microdose? Because that's the question I get from people every day.
Yeah.
Like and we're talking about milligrams, milliliters, units. It's super confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing. So I think the biggest struggle people have with peptides is they can actually order them online. They're a research product. They're kind of categorized as a nutraceutical, like a supplement. But the odd thing is, like, I'm a medical provider, so I have to be careful how I prescribe them. Or if, it's not necessarily a prescription. It's a research product.
Exactly.
So, I have to go through all these kind of loopholes to be like, hey, if you're a client of mine, you have to sign a consent saying that, it's a research product. And so where it gets really tricky is people can buy this stuff online, but they don't know how to dose it or how to give it or how to do it. So I recommend having some kind of medical provider to help you with that. I created a peptide course that's almost done.
Yay.
That it's really just the basics of how to dose the peptides with a dosing guide. But even at that, I think a lot of people need kind of handheld, and it's kind of tricky with the GLP-1s because you are going to get a specific dose based on where you're at. But a guideline I'd say is I have some people that just do it once a week. And if it's trizepatide, like a milligram, between 0.5 and a milligram is good, right? 0.5 or 1 milligram would be good of the trizepatide. And then if you need more, obviously your provider would increase it. And the retatrutide is kind of same dose. Like they're very similar in dosing, actually. They're a lot different than the semaglutide. And so I'll have people do like a milligram a week of the retatrutide. The other thing you can do, and I don't know if you're aware of this, is you can break up the dose into 2 different doses. Did anyone tell you about that?
No.
Okay. So if somebody's pretty sensitive or they're brand new to it or they maybe have any kind of side effects, you can break up the dose into 2 doses. The reality is if you're microdosing, you're likely not going to have side effects.
Totally.
Did you have any side effects?
I had a few side effects, which I think were the herxing and the die-off.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how sensitive I am. I don't know, because I started them all basically at one time.
Okay.
If it was the BPC, the Thymosin Alpha, or the GLP-1.
Okay.
But for the first 5 days, probably, I just felt that familiar die-off feeling. But I also felt energy. Like I said, I felt benefits immediately. Yeah. So I felt good. I felt clear, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the brain fog went away, which same. Like I used to, at the end of the day, speak like pig Latin to my husband. Like I literally couldn't find words, which is also such a postpartum thing. And that started to get better. But yeah, for like 5 days, I was like laying on the floor like, oh my God, is this normal?
Right.
Of course, I asked my doctor who prescribed them and he said super normal, especially for sensitive people.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good that I started so small. I started with 1.25 milligrams, which is
once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah. See, sometimes I'll start people even lower. It depends on the patient, obviously, or the client.
Totally. Because now I'm noticing, not that I am any sort of medical provider, nor do I ever claim to be. But I have like a peptide support group on WhatsApp. And I'm noticing, because there's like 40 or 50 women in there, people have so many different experiences. And even with microdosing, some women are really struggling and having herxing and they have, headaches, and I'm giving them all the tips that I've ever come across.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, whoa, there's people who are more sensitive than me.
Yeah. So I think that's why I sometimes if I have someone that I know has had a lot of health problems, I'll start them even lower dose and break it up and do it twice a week instead of 1 dose midweek.
Okay.
I do know that a lot of people have had success with implementing BPC 157. If they're just on GLP-1s only, it's better to add in if they have a lot of GI issues. it's better to add in the BPC 157 orally and injectable. It's totally fine.
So orally, as in like the sublingual.
So oral, like more like a supplement. There may be sublingual. I do know that they're coming out with a lot of new ways. Like there's intranasal peptides. I've seen that there's some other methods for sure that work.
I have sublingual at home, but I haven't tried them. They look like a little Listerine strip, if you remember those.
Did you get it from BioLongevity, or where'd you get it?
Instamed.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that.
The peptide course that I signed up for, which now I want to do yours, obviously.
Yeah.
They're affiliated with Instamed. So when I was talking to them, they were like, oh yeah, we'll send you the sublingual and you can, try them, see if your audience would like them.
That's great.
I haven't tried them just because I've been loving the injectables and I haven't wanted to add anything because of how sensitive I am. But I want to.
So what I'll tell you is I don't think you'll have bad reaction from BPC 157 ever, and that you can totally do it oral and injectable because the oral is going to target the gut a little more, and the injectable is going to be more of a systemic healing.
I see.
So if you're going to add it, or you could just like do one or the other, like 3 days of just oral and then 3 days of injectable. You could do that as well. You could play around with it. But I used to put a lot of clients on both because everyone had GI issues. And so the oral seems to help the gut a little more, whereas the injectable is more systemic. So just a little.
And can you take it any time of day?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's so safe because it's just like a protein amino acid.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna add you to the peptide group when we leave here, I will tell everyone, don't bother Amber too much. But if you have any crazy questions, whenever you have time, you can look in there.
For sure.
I
think
exciting.
There's a lot of people wanting to know and get this information, and it's hard to find.
It is, and everyone deserves to feel well.
I know.
And heal.
Yeah.
And people are desperately hungry for this information.
I know.
I mean, I've never seen a response like this. Like, I've posted about some clickbaity things over the years, but this is crazy.
I think so many people are suffering and they're looking for answers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the amount of autoimmune disease is rampant. I think diabetes is rampant. Like, I think people are like willing to do anything to feel better at this point. And post-COVID, people they're more open. They're more open to these other alternative healing methods. And the sad part is it's hard to get access to these peptides because they're not FDA approved. So
exactly.
I think it can be a little trickier, but they're becoming more and more awareness around it, and I think a lot more people are like, I want this. And it's just so funny because I'm like, peptides used to be just a rich people thing, like my high-end clients would be like, I need this for an injury. And so so
my husband was doing BPC 157 like 5 years ago, like you're talking about. As like an athlete, like I don't know, and I saw it in the fridge and just was like, not for me.
You didn't even think about it?
No, I didn't even think about how it could help me.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I was going to say back to when you said you were herxing, the thymosin alpha is what can cause herxing.
Oh, so maybe it was that.
So when something that, it might help is like doing it every other day or every third day. And I don't know if you were doing that, but going slow.
I've been daily since day one, but I'm extreme.
Yeah.
And I never recommend to people that they should do how I've done it because I'm desperate to feel better. I'm desperate to improve.
You go all in.
And when I am improving, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to change anything, which brings me to another question.
Yeah.
BPC and thymosin alpha and the GLP-1, are they meant to be cycled, or are they meant like you can stay on them forever if they feel really good?
So every single peptide has a different amount of time to be cycled on and cycled off. The ones you really have to cycle are more the human growth analog peptides, which is the ones that stimulate human growth hormone. You have to cycle those because your receptors will get too used to them. BPC 157, ideally, you could be on it long term. It's nice to give yourself 1 to 2 weeks off.
Okay.
So then, because what happens is your receptors can get so used to this peptide that it might not work as effectively. But it's not a matter of if it'll work or not. It's a matter of just taking a small break. And a lot of times I'll have clients do, or myself, 5 days on, 2 days off, not every single day. So I'm not sure how you're doing it. There's a lot of information around how to do it. But if I was doing it every single day, I would give myself a couple weeks off.
Oh, okay. After how long?
So typically BPC is like 6 weeks, and then you would take like 2 to 3 weeks off.
Oh.
Or there's some people that recommend just doing the 5 days on, 2 days off because you're getting those 2 days off. But I mean, ideally, I'll give myself like a 2-week break in between BPC, and especially you have to cycle thymosin beta. Thymosin alpha is a little trickier because I don't remember if you're supposed to cycle it, but what I do know is you can pretty much take it every day to boost your immune system. But a lot of people just use it when they're sick or traveling, or I'll do 5 days on, 2 days off. So I almost always give myself the weekends off on every single peptide.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, because you want them to still work so effectively. And if you constantly are on them, you should take a week or two off and then bring that peptide back into the mix. Now, if you start doing growth hormone peptides, which I recommend, like eventually for you to try, you'll have to cycle those. And those can look like a month on, a month off, depending on which one you're on, or 2 months on, 2 months off. It just depends.
I'm excited to try some of those.
Oh, yeah. They're amazing for energy, for building muscle. That's the thing I was going to talk about. The GLP-1s, you have to keep your muscle. So has anyone talked to you about that?
Oh, yeah. But let's talk about it.
Okay. So what did the doctors, did he mention anything when you went on it?
It wasn't necessarily him. I mean, we talked about so many things in that appointment. But it was some of my following who I've always learned from them. I mean, many women who had been on peptides for far longer than I have, being like, be sure to protect your muscle, which makes sense when you're losing weight rapidly or more rapidly than you would have without the peptides. You always want to protect your muscle. So I've been trying just in my own ways. I have my weighted vest. I'm very active.
That's good.
But tell us, like, what are the real tips for preserving our muscle?
So, I mean, there's obviously supplements you can add in. So
like
something
what?
I started to do every single day was taking creatine. I know there's a lot of hype around creatine, and it used to just be for men, right? So they're finding that women should be taking creatine daily to help optimize mitochondria and maintaining muscle. And so while you're on a GLP-1, it would be really beneficial to be on creatine. And I think I'd do 5 milligrams daily, like the Thorne brand. And I take it before my workout. And I'm noticing, like, I've been losing weight, but I'm not losing any muscle at all.
Good.
And it's something that's been important to me because I'm like, I don't want to look saggy or like my skin is sagging or, obviously all those things. And so the reality is when you burn fat, you burn up toxins too. And when you burn up fat at a very fast rate, like you're saying, you could become deficient in lots of nutrients. So I make myself eat a lot of protein. And I used to be vegan, so this is really funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were both vegan probably last time we saw each other.
We were.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I was constantly anemic, and I loved being vegan, but I just wasn't really working with my energy levels. So I started to eat meat, but what I noticed with the GLP-1s is that I needed a little more protein. So I'm trying right now to get like 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, which is hard because I don't have a lot of time. I'm super busy. So another thing I've implemented is amino acids. I'm drinking amino acids.
From what brand?
So, of course, it's like the brand that everyone's talking about is because Gary Brecka, Gary Brecka.
Yeah,
he represents their brand, but it's called Perfect Aminos.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Okay, so Perfect Aminos, 1 scoop, and it just goes into your water, and it's added protein.
Does it taste like anything?
They have flavors. They have like lemon lime, and like I don't do the vanilla unless I'm doing it in a smoothie or something. But the lemon lime, or I think it's like a berry flavor, you just throw it into your water, and then you don't have, if you're worried that you're not getting enough protein, it's just an easy fix, but it also helps maintain muscle mass.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So those are like my little hacks of what I've done to try to maintain muscle mass, and I feel like it's worked out well. Also, there's peptides that can help build muscle.
Yeah. Is that like one of the ones that you were just talking about?
So the growth hormone peptides can help with muscle. There's some very sophisticated ones for bodybuilders that they use. We'll have to learn about those because they're like a little like crazy where you can get really, really bulked out. But like thymosin, TB500, thymosin beta can help build muscle. Ipamorelin can help build muscle. And then there's something called 5-amino-1-MQ, which is a new one.
Okay.
It's a new, maybe you haven't heard of that.
No.
It's kind of not a lot of chitter chatter about that one yet, but that can help sustain muscle mass. So what I'll say is for any female, because it's really important to prevent osteoporosis or osteopenia, is to take these things to maintain muscle and lift weights. So the fact that you have a vest is a big deal.
Know.
Are you lifting any weights?
I need to lift weights.
Yeah.
Just like the peptides, weightlifting is coming into my ethers like every day.
Okay.
Not that I don't already know that I should be doing it. But
Right.
I mean, there's reminders everywhere.
Yeah.
I sometimes do. I take like the hot yoga sculpt where we use weights, but it's not like legit weightlifting.
Right.
I need to actually join a gym because I don't have access to weights. I have my yoga studio.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband has weights at home, but they're way too heavy for me.
Tell him to buy
So,
some smaller ones.
He
for
would.
you.
He would love that.
Yeah.
So what's your routine?
So, I kind of always did similar, like Pilates and yoga. And then I started reading the research about how building muscle for a woman is so important and how we kind of been told that that's not a big deal. It's kind of been interesting because right around the time that I started to microdose, I was like, I started to hear you should lift weights. And I started to do that about 3 times a week. I'll go to like an F45 or I have weights outside too on my patio. And I started lifting heavy. And I'd never done that before. And what's crazy is like my energy is so much better.
I need to do it.
I'm not even doing cardio.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I mean, I'll sometimes go on a jog or I'll sometimes, but I find like just lifting heavy has been so good for my hormones.
Yeah.
And-
that's what I hear from everyone. It's
Yeah.
crazy that I haven't gotten into it.
Yeah, you
It's
should. Well, now that
just-
you started the
I'm a
peptides.
creature of habit. I'm like,
Yeah.
to the yoga studio I go.
Yeah.
But I need to, and I definitely agree with the benefits. And I just did the Prenuvo scan.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, I'm going Sunday for.
Oh my God.
It's so funny. I was like, I have to tell her she just a scan, and I'm going on Sunday to do it. So how was
We've
it?
always been the same person.
I don't- it's so
on the
weird.
same path. It was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved it. I had a good experience. I watched Netflix the whole time. I didn't have any claustrophobia or anything because you're in the MRI tube.
Yeah.
But it was great. My results were great.
Oh, good. That's good news.
No, thank God. My only issues were a little bit of spinal degeneration in 2 different places. I mean, I think it's pretty common. It was very mild, but it's obviously something you want to know about.
Right.
In my cervical spine and my lumbar spine.
Okay.
So I'm immediately thinking, what supplements can I take for my bones? What can I
Sure.
do to strengthen? Hence weightlifting. Hence why it's been coming into my ethers over and over.
No, weightlifting is definitely one of the ways to slow osteoporosis. And,
Yeah.
And also, you've heard of DEXA scans. People
Yeah.
are big on those now. And so I know a lot of people are talking about like the lifting. Also, the growth hormone peptide would help. But weightlifting is going to be key. And at least 3 days a week of heavy lifting would be really beneficial.
I just need to join a freaking gym. And then, just because I am going to copy you with the human growth hormone, what is your dosing?
So it depends on what strength and where you get it from.
Okay.
But so you could just do tesamorelin or just ipamorelin. And tesamorelin's actually an FDA-approved drug for fat burning. There's lots of other uses for it, but it's specific to visceral fat, which is the fat in the tummy. And then ipamorelin is really good growth hormone analog for women. So I like to do it together as a blend. You're more sensitive, so I'd start off at a low dose, but normally I'm microdosing it. And so, it would be micrograms. So usually they come in a 5 to 5 milligrams, so 5 of tesamorelin and 5 of ipamorelin, and I'm microdosing that, and I'm just only injecting like 0.10 in an insulin syringe.
Okay.
But there's like so many ways to dose it. So it's like, but I go slow with everything because I know I'm sensitive. And I'm like you, I'll herx from anything.
So I got a vibration plate.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
I'm obsessed. And I used it. I think I overused it yesterday. And talk about being sensitive.
Yeah.
Like I feel unwell today because I did like multiple sessions on the vibration plate, and that'll
overdid it.
shake it up.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about this is like a whole other podcast, which we could do at some point. But when you're losing weight and you're on peptides and you're a sick person who's a healing person,
Right.
A lot of toxins get released in the body.
Yep.
Hence why I got the vibration plate, and I've wanted one for a long time.
Yeah.
And long story short, I think the toxins were just like swimming around, and then I went on the plate, way too many times yesterday because it was
like
this
released
fun
more.
new gadget, and then I just haven't, I haven't properly released it yet. I need to get like a colonic or go to the sauna or something.
Sweat it out. I mean, the infrared sauna is like the best. Honestly, way to go. Once
So
you're
I
like,
will do that later.
Yeah.
In my 100-degree town of Westlake.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
you
go
could just go
sit in my
outside.
sauna, like, in the garage. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so with your Lyme journey,
Yeah.
when did you turn a corner? Like, when did you start feeling better?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question.
I
So
know.
So I would say, there's so many things that I did, but I think I came to a point where I was like you, I was trying all these things and I wouldn't necessarily feel like I was feeling better. It'd be like I get better for a week or something and then I kind of go back. And I had to tell myself, okay, well, I'm not going to identify anymore as a sick person. Like, not that I was a victim necessarily. I just think I was just like so used to living that pattern of life that I had to like tell myself I had to do something different. And so I remember something that was like really monumental for me was like writing out in a journal that I was healthy and like my body was healing and that my mindset was changing. And I really did work on my mindset for like 6 months straight. Like I kind of just like went off by myself and worked on my mindset of how to be a healthy person again. And I did have significant trauma and I did have things in my life that were hard. And like I think losing our house and having kids back to back and all these things and going through the mold, and it was traumatic. I mean, and thinking I had cancer at one point. It was a lot of, even, you know, just things. Everyone has trauma. But I think like I got to this point where I was like, I'm going to completely radically change my mindset. And instead of going after infection and thinking that I have to kill something all the time, I'm just going to optimize. And if I can, however that I can learn how to optimize my body, I'm going to do it. And so of course it's revolved around wellness. Like I love all the things, all the biohacks. I love all those things. I'm still slowly learning. I want to buy PEMF mat. I want to, you know, I love, I don't know if you've heard of Hocket, the ozone sauna. Have you ever heard of that?
No,
oh my
sounds
gosh.
amazing.
Super cool. I mean, you might hurt, but it's an ozone sauna that you sit in and it gets just ozone through the pores. So,
how long has that been around?
a long time.
Oh,
it's like a German.
I've been in one at this kind of like healing facility years ago. It's kind of like an underground at this woman's house.
Wow.
Very cool. Yes, that just brought me all the way back in my mind.
So what I'll say was, I think changing my mindset, but then I started getting into frequency medicine.
Yeah, I love frequency medicine.
And I started to realize that it was more that my body, I learned that it was more about a cellular healing and frequency healing than it was just treating infections.
100%.
And so I started to see some interesting healers that like did biomagnetism. I did a lot of kinesiology muscle testing. I'm sure you're familiar. And I actually went on some just basic herbs like from Supreme Nutrition.
Yeah, I love those. I have my kids on those.
My kids are on them too, like all the time. Because they don't get sick if they take the herbs from Supreme Nutrition. So I started just going more gentle on my system, but also really working on my mindset and meditating and praying and just be like, I know that this isn't my future. I'm not going to stay this person. I just have to evolve into the person I need to be. And so I just saw a big shift, and I can't pinpoint. I mean, methylene blue was also a really big game changer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've dabbled in that.
I tried it once.
Okay.
I think I did it all wrong. Number one, I think I used way too much, like took way too much, and it tasted like alcohol, like horrible. Like I was freaking out. I don't know the method in which you take it. And then the fact that my whole mouth was turquoise, I was just like, what have I just done?
Yeah.
So I didn't continue. But I think that was right before I got pregnant with my son. So I didn't give it a proper chance.
Okay.
How do you take it?
So I would recommend, I started doing something called Troscriptions. It's a troche, and you put it. Have you heard of it? Okay. So I've done different types of methylene blue, but they have a really cool product that has the tiniest bit of nicotine in it.
I was going to ask you about nicotine. Yeah. I'm loving nicotine.
Are you doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
I just started.
I just started too.
What are you taking?
So funny.
Like gum or?
Well, so no, I'm doing the methylene blue with nicotine.
Okay.
So it's a troche that it's basically mixed with nicotine and caffeine. And my mind is like, I'm like focusing even more.
Wait, do I need a prescription? How do I get this?
You know, you might. There's a link in my bio to get it.
Okay, well, that's how I'll get it. Yeah. That's perfect.
But I think, I don't know if you have to be a physician to set up an account, or you might be able to just order straight from their site. But I have a link, or if it's not, it should be there because we have people asking for it. But you should be able to also just get it online. I'm not sure. But it's like, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Look at us. We are such optimizers.
I know.
I love it. And that is the key to healing.
Yeah.
And the frequency medicine, I'm so happy that you said that.
Yeah.
Because it is mindset. It is frequency. It is raising your vibration. That's what's going to change everything. nothing can work if we don't believe that we're a healthy person.
Yeah. Mindset is everything, I think, to healing. And you've heard of The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah,
There's a book about it.
Yeah.
So I think really doing the mindset work, and it, like I said, it took me a while. I had to retrain my brain.
Same. Lots of brain retraining.
What helped you? Like, what did you do?
Oh my God. Very similar to what you said. I spent a lot of time working on my mind. Like when I kind of left the Lyme healing world, in which I feel like I actually exited like I don't even know what to call it. It was just an era of my life that was too much. It was
too heavy.
And it was my full-time identity. I mean, it was horrible.
That's the problem with chronic illness, is people identify with it.
And when I left, I mean, I literally left and like got a functional medicine doctor who really started instilling in me that I'm a healthy person.
Yeah.
And that she's not worried about me for the future, and would tell me to go to the ocean and put my feet in the ocean and I would heal. And of course, you know, I was so sick.
You're
so
like,
I
why
was
am I
like,
paying you all
what
this
the
money for
fuck
this?
are you talking about? But also I believed her. I was just like, nothing works for me. I believe that will work for other people. And I had to do a lot of that myself. And I did it through plant medicine, ayahuasca, shamanic awakenings. I mean, I did it all. Like psychic awakenings, like retapping into we're all intuitive. So like retapping into my powers of, we all have different ones. Like I see people's faces shapeshift, and I just saw yours shifting since we've been here.
That's crazy.
And like stopping ignoring that part of me was huge. And then you know, frequency and getting rid of toxicity in all areas of my life. People and mold.
Wait, can we say people?
Oh,
again?
people. I mean,
because I think that was what was hindering me in a lot of ways, was people.
You know, we could do a whole episode on this. My pattern was keeping all of the, I don't want to say toxic, but not right for me, people really, really close to me, and then giving them my all. I mean, giving them better friendship than I would give to my kids and my husband. Yes, my husband's like, well, what do we get from you? Like, all you do is give your energy to people who treat you like shit.
But why did we do that?
I don't know. We're people pleasers. We have trauma. I mean, I uncovered these unprocessed childhood traumatic memories, and like all of that came forth. And I mean, I'm a Libra. What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
So we're sensitive and we care about people. I mean, Libras and Pisces have that in common.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know,
but we're empaths.
But we're deeply empathic. And I mean, I have lost a lot of people, and I'm glad. I mean, and like, it was the hardest lesson I've ever been through, and continues to be.
Right.
Because it's never going to come naturally to me. I'm never going to be like, you know, like an Aries, you know, one of these people who's just like, fuck them and move on. Like, that is not who I am. I will dream about them. I will lie awake thinking about them.
Oh my gosh.
But I know me and my kids, my husband, my family is better off without them.
Yeah.
And without me even having the energy of them.
Right.
Because it got to the point with some people, I know this is a lot of info, but where my husband would be like, you do what you want to do, but I'm not going to talk to that person. Like, they have hurt you, and if you need to still be friends with them, go ahead, but we're done. Like, I'm done. I don't want them in our house. And I was like maintaining friendships like that.
For what?
And he's a loving person. My God, he's not like going to cut people off very easily.
Yeah.
He freaking loves everybody. It got really bad, but it was my pattern. And that's the thing. Like, as I talk about it here, it wasn't even their fault.
Yeah.
It was mine. It's like, why am I still trying?
I think that when you're an empath, you just care so much about people, and you try to fix them. I tried to fix people.
Me too.
But you can't.
No. And then I realized, like, half these people, all these people, they don't even ask me how I'm doing. I know everything about them, and they don't even know what I'm going through.
Right.
Nor do they care.
No.
And we just don't deserve that, unless that's like your mother or someone who you like have to maintain a relationship with or want to.
Right.
You don't need that in your life.
Yeah.
And that's the healing. So the book I'm writing right now,
which I
tell me about
it. I can't wait to hear.
It's coming out in winter 2026, but it is like my version of The Body Keeps the Score. It's
Amazing.
my memoir. it's a bit of self-help, but I would say it's like 70% memoir, and it's everything I've learned from frequency healing. I mean, we might even change the name to have frequency in it, just because it is like so powerful. Awakening psychically. Yeah. The cult of Lyme. I mean, if I want to call it that, that's like really dark, and I know you'll relate to so much of it.
I can't wait to read it.
I'm so excited. So yeah, those were the main ways that I healed. But then physically, I was still really suffering, but mentally, I was good. You know, I was like, I can pull it together. Yeah. I know how to be a good mom. I know how to be a good business owner, wife. But like, I do feel like shit constantly. Yeah. And it was really the peptides that gave me the physical healing that I had already done, a lot of the mindset and the nervous system healing. But like you said, peptides probably won't work on someone who is not willing to do the nervous system healing and the emotional healing.
I mean, I think that peptides, it's basically like you can be walking around in a toxic soup. And so like the better you eat and the healthier your lifestyle is and the thought patterns you have could, you know, the peptides could help someone that's toxic, but they're going to really benefit people that are more optimized and that are a little bit healthier and have their mindset right. And, you know, not stressed out all the time. And so I think getting your mind right and your physical body right. I mean, we're mind, body, soul. We're not just a physical body. So the problem with a lot of the doctors is they're only focusing on the physical body. They're not focusing on the mind or the soul. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like your book is explaining all those things where we're forgetting to treat the person as a whole.
We are. And you're so intuitive, because my book is broken into mind, body, soul, spirit. Those are the four parts of the book.
That's crazy.
Because it took me years to figure out the structure of the book, because it's changed as my story has changed and my healing has changed. And that's what The Body Keeps the Score is about, and frequency healing, and Louise Hay and Joe Dispenza, and everything that I believe in.
I love Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, and that was huge on my healing journey too, with meditating and visualizing your future self.
Right.
So we could talk about all of this all day. Yeah. But my final question, and then I think we're just going to have to do a part 2.
We'll have to do a part 2. There's so much to talk about.
I know. I really want my parents to take some peptides. And I'm sure a lot of people listening are either my parents' age, or they have parents that are my parents' age, early 70s, late 70s. For my dad, what would you recommend? Blanket.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my dad is on so many peptides. My dad is like 65. I did a podcast with him, and he just told about like how they helped his injuries and whatnot. But I mean, I would do, if for somebody that's getting older, definitely cycling BPC 157 and Thymosin beta. I really like GHKCU for if they're more into like their hair and skin, which most people are.
They are. My parents totally are.
I remember your mom being into that. So like really that helps with wrinkles and collagen. And as we age, you know, that's important. I think you want to feel confident and good about yourself. And GHKCU is incredible for that. And there's blends of it. You can actually get GHKCU with BPC and TB 500 or TB4, depending on what pharmacy you get it from, or lab. But I would recommend for someone that's aging for sure to be on some kind of growth hormone, whether that's traditional growth hormone or a growth hormone analog, which is a peptide. So because that is going to help with stimulating more growth hormones so they don't age as fast. So whether it's a peptide or the actual, you've heard of people being on growth hormone, they're both, really helpful as we age. But like, I'm trying to think, I like AOD a lot. My dad has had a lot of success with that, but that's also kind of given more for fat burning. And trying to think of what else my dad's on. He's on so many.
That's amazing. He's so lucky to have you.
Well, the funny part is he'll just do it on his own. And I'm like, are you doing the dose right? Like, I'll be checking, because the reality is you have to dose each and every peptide. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. The math.
Yes.
It's confusing.
It's confusing. You have to use a calculator.
Reconstituting them yourself. Yes.
You have to use a calculator. But CJC 1295.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you heard of that one? Okay. So CJC 1295 with ipamorelin is amazing for older people. Okay. Amazing.
I have that sublingually. I wonder if I should give that to my parents.
Oh, you have
to
it?
Try?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't tried it.
Okay. So probably, they would do fantastic on that. That's what I would recommend for them to start out with. Or your mom could go on just ipamorelin. It's a little bit better for females, just plain ipamorelin. But they could also do CJC. People were like, my hair's never been better. My skin's never been better from being on CJC 1295. It's amazing. But also do that at a low dose just because you can get a little flush from it. If my dad's on NAD,
that's good.
We got a stronger version of NAD, and he loves it. He loves to inject methylcobalamin B12 too. So he's injecting all those things, but he's always on a human growth analog, and he's always on a tissue repair peptide.
Okay.
So those are the ones that I'd be like. And the 5-amino-1-MQ that I was talking about, amazing for older people because it's going to help them sustain muscle mass.
Amazing.
So those would be like my top picks. The GHKCU.
Those are good.
Have you heard of GHKCU yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My sister takes that one.
Oh,
she has lupus, and she has like a lot of rashes. So her husband is the one who's like really into peptides with me.
Well, just so you know, the GHKCU comes in oral form, pill form, and nasal spray. I haven't tried it, so I can't like speak to it because I'm injecting it because obviously the injections are going to be the most effective. But for somebody that's sensitive, the pill form or the nasal spray might be really good.
Yeah.
And you've heard of the CMAX and Slank or no?
Yes.
Have you heard? Okay, good. Okay.
But I haven't tried.
I have dabbled in it with the nasal sprays, but they're really good for ADHD and anxiety and brain function.
Well, I have all those things.
Yeah, you should maybe look.
And who doesn't? Who has Lyme, by the way? Like, we are all
A lot of anxiety.
and ADHD. I see a lot of crossovers.
Okay.
And the brain
Is the nicotine
fog.
helping with the ADHD or?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah. Are you doing
I have to
patches?
be really careful with the nicotine though, because I can get like headaches and I can feel kind of like lightheaded. I do gum.
Oh.
I actually was gonna have some during this, but I didn't even like get it out of my purse because I was feeling a little. I told you how I wasn't feeling my best because of the vibration plate.
Yes, you overdid it.
Totally. But yeah, I'm loving the nicotine. But I'm gonna go to your Instagram and
Try out the prescriptions. The nice part is you can cut them into really small pieces. You cut them.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, you could try it.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, so you can find me at the Ageless Blonde on IG, and I have a link tree with my peptide course and my website.
Yay.
At the Ageless Blonde. Yeah.
And people can come see you in LA, right? Like if they want to come to your
So
place?
we actually do, so we do telemedicine calls, and I have nurses that do concierge house calls as well. So I'll do telemedicine calls from my house, like consults. I'll do health coaching or just like a medical consult because I started my own business. I think I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
And we're trying to transition more into the telemedicine model, but I have private nurses that will come to people.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because people are. And do they do peptides?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can have them come to your house, or we can ship the peptide directly to the patient as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And is it pre-mixed, or they're going to mix it themselves?
So if they're uncomfortable with if they don't want to reconstitute it and whatnot, we can show them how to do it or send a nurse to do it. But we're all concierge model. Most of my clients, I ship everything to them, and I actually have a video on how to reconstitute and do everything.
That's
so I have an entire video, or I'll coach them on the phone through FaceTime if they need. We'll offer whatever service they need. Everyone's different. Some people are totally fine with it, and some people are terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was like FaceTiming with my doctor's secretary.
Oh
like
my
just,
gosh.
I mean, it's not that I was terrified. It's just that it's confusing.
It is confusing.
The math. I'm like, I am so confused between the milliliters and the milligrams and the units
CCs
and then the water and then the syringe. Like,
and then to know what what dose to dose it at. That's what I'm saying. The doses all
and
vary.
you don't want to mess it up. I mean, especially with the GLP-1, you don't want to like give yourself too much. So I was like,
and that's why I'm building a course just to teach people that, and also to have a dosing guide, because people need a dosing guide to go off of.
Definitely.
For sure.
Well, I'm so excited. I feel like we're going to do so much more together in this realm. Like, I just feel it. My intuition is going crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm so excited for you and your book and this peptide journey that you're on.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm so happy for us. We've come so far.
I know. We should be proud.
We really should. Yay. Well, part 2 to come.
Yes.
And everyone, you guys got to go follow Amber.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.